Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video on this channel. I'm super excited to do this video, but first of all, Happy New Year. It's really good to see you all, and I'm excited for this year. This year is going to be huge. I'm going to try upload every Wednesday a tutorial and some little videos in between. Today we're going to be pulling apart this lens. This is a 18-55 EFS kit set Canon lens that you get pretty much with any cheap Canon camera, DSLR. We're going to pull it apart and see what actually is inside of this. Yeah, this one's pretty old. It's gone past. It's dust inside of it. It's a buggered lens, but we'll take it apart so you guys can see what's inside of this lens and we can have some fun. I think I've got all the tools. I've never done anything like this, but we'll get right into it, eh? So the first thing I notice when I take this cap off is there's 4 screws. Sadly my little Phillips doesn't fit, but I've got a little flathead that does. So we'll just undo these with this. Alright, now that they are off, that should come off like that. So now we can see into there, which is your motherboard and a few little bits and pieces. I'm going to try disconnect these. Okay, that came off. So there's a couple of rings here. Not too sure what they're for. One's like a clear plastic, transparent plastic, and one's black one. Maybe they're like to reduce shock. No, so I'm going to leave that like that, but there's a couple of little like sort of thin cables that I'm just going to try pull out, and hopefully they come out. So the inner workings, everything that tells it to control is like that. It's just like a motherboard that's pretty close up to where your eye goes, and that's the inside of it. The one thing I do notice is when you zoom, it'll be zooming up, the piece of glass there goes further away. When you zoom in, it comes right up to you. There's a bunch more little screws in there, so I'm going to start undoing them and we'll get into it. Alright, so I've just taken off a couple of screws to this middle top here, and when I've opened it up, I've seen a bunch of like cogs. If you can see that, it's just a bunch of cogs. The metal plates just come off, so they're in there. Let's get further into this. I want to get to the glass. I want to take the glass out. So now, so now this whole thing should come out. The whole mechanism to how it works. There you go. I've just taken it apart there. So that's all the motor. So yeah, so that's all the motor, and everything sort of in it that spins everything. There is a bunch of little screws in this. So far we're looking a bit like that. So it's, you know, it's quite deep in. Still got the front intact, but I believe to get the front off I have to take the cover off. I'm not actually too sure, I've never done this before, but a lot of tiny little screws in this thing. It's quite difficult to actually get into. I guess they're not really made to take apart. You shouldn't really be taking them apart. I don't recommend this. I'm just going to pull that out a wee bit. This screw here, I'm starting to shred a wee bit. Yeah, I'm going to bugger that one. I don't think we'll be able to get that out anytime soon. But there is a bunch of little ones around here. There's another one just in here. Just right next to this piece of glass. There's just another one in there. So we'll give that a go. We'll see if we can get that out. It's an odd looking screw. It's got like a body around it just to keep everything together. I'm not really sure how this comes. So this little tiny piece, the camera might not even pick it up, but that little piece there is rubbing along. There's a little piece of wire just in here, like right above my finger, on the out, like sort of sitting on the inner of the outside body, and that little piece rubs along it, and I'm guessing that's either for the autofocus. Oh no, this one will be for the zoom. This one's for the zoom. So this one here, you know, tells the computer how far it needs to zoom out, how far in it is, whereabouts on the, you know, place it is at. That's pretty cool. It's amazing how a little piece like that can, you know, autofocus something like this. Zoom something like this. I think I have to go from the front, and if I do, I'm going to struggle with that, because when screwdrivers don't work, you use force. So I've broken the whole zoom part now, so that's quite cool actually. Look at this. You know, that's a little bit, might use that for a photo actually. That's quite cool. But on the side of that little piece of metal there, that was on the body. In here, there's a little piece of metal that runs around, just in here, and that there is for your autofocus. So when you want to focus, and you know it autofocuses itself, that's where that just goes like makes that sound and focuses it to where it needs to be. But I quite like that. That's quite cool. It's like a fisheye. So we're pretty much into it. I'm going to try to get this other piece out. There's a couple more screws on here to undo. That should hopefully take that out, and then it should be an empty body. And if so, then sweet, we're pretty much done. But yeah, we'll get this out. Hopefully. So that's come out, which is a little piece that was sitting attached to that piece dangling, which was in there towards that center piece of glass. So much glass. So that's more of a, it's more of a macro kind of, bit of glass. It probably helps with the magnifying to get you that 55 sort of range. This here I'm just going to pull off. Lots of destruction here. Lots of destruction. I think it's safe to say we've almost pulled this as much apart as we can. There's not a lot more we can really take out of here. There is a couple of screws, but you know, it's now just sitting as almost an empty body. I think we'll just go through and talk about some pieces. I don't know much about what does what. I'm not really that advanced in the side of things of helping it go, but I'm just going to disconnect this. So that piece there goes on your body of your camera. That's sat underneath it. That there is the motherboard. That's the brains of your lens. those two there is what that's for. There's your body of your lens, so that's the 18 to 55. That pretty much sat on the back end there, and that makes it a complete lens like that. That piece here actually sat in the front of the body of the lens. I just kind of ripped it out because for some reason my screwdriver wasn't working, and we got a little autofocus piece of metal on there. That's your cap. I'm going to keep that because I always seem to lose mine. That little piece here, which went with this piece here, so that's like that, that sits on the other side of it. That is a little controlled motor and piece of lens. I'm guessing that sort of zooms in and out with the body, and that maybe gives you your focus, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I'm guessing it's for. You've got your covers for your gears, which is this little system here. That sat inside the body just underneath the motherboard and was connected to the motherboard, telling it how to focus, where to focus, and all that kind of bits and pieces. That, you know, that's sort of, that and the motherboard are the brains of the operation of what to do with those little pieces of metal for the focusing, auto-focusing, and the zoom. That's pretty much how it is. The rest is just plastic and glass. Little piece of metal that sat on top of that. The outer ring for the outside of it, I might flatten that out and stick it on something. And then you got two little rings. They were just, I'm guessing they're for like helping with the stabilization of the camera. They may be just like a gasket, or they absorb a little bit of the stabilization, sort of shakes in the camera. That's possibly what they're for. They might just be purely there just to, I don't know, give it some room, just to, you know, it's like washers. You put washers in because of the gap. And then just a bunch of little screws and some more rings and just broken parts. But that's what's inside a kit set 18 to 55mm lens. Yeah. So guys, now that we've taken apart this 18 to 55mm Canon kit set lens, it's quite interesting. I've learned a little bit about how the sort of lenses work, and I have a bit more appreciation into the build of them. You know, for something so cheap, it's quite a complex build. So, you know, shout out to Canon for making it so complex, and, you know, other than that, I think that's it. I want to give a shout out to an Instagram account. And this Instagram account is actually a friend of mine. We go out and shoot a wee bit now. Really cool guy, you know, he's young, he's really just getting into it. But this is it. So if I go here and go, so Josh Maxwell is his Instagram, Josh Maxwell _photography. And we go out and shoot. I try to get him out as much as I can. I love helping people. These are a couple of his photos. We'll go this here. We took this the other night. I went out with him. We went and decided, oh, let's go get some reflection shots. There were some puddles around, but we went a bit further and used some windows. So that's one. That boardwalk is actually a really cool shot. If Josh is watching this, I do recommend just maybe doing a bit more color editing to it, just to pop those colors out a bit more. Maybe pop out the walkway itself as well. That's down at Nugget Point, Christchurch. That's quite cool. I was recently in Christchurch, and that there, you can actually jump on that and it's like a tour through the city. That's quite cool. Light with a cone, that's a really cool photo. A little bit of digital noise in it, from what I can see, but not a bad photo. The sheep, classic New Zealand photo. That's quite a cool shot. I would recommend actually sort of darkening the trees around that and really drawing your attention to the top of that lighthouse there, and that would make that shot a bit better. So what a portrait more shot, another portrait kind of shot. You know, for a kid who I think he's 16 years old, he's using a, you know, cheap end sort of DSLR that you get this kind of lens on. He's starting to get an eye for what it is, and I've been shooting with him now for it'll be coming up to a couple of months, and he's definitely been improving, and I think he's been taking on a lot of tips from me. So yeah, but that's all from me today. I will see you guys again. New tutorials are going to come out every Wednesday, hopefully. Maybe Thursday. We'll work out a time that best fits everybody. Tutorials on photography, how to improve your phone photography, how to improve your photography with a cheap DSLR camera, right through to more expensive stuff. Don't need to worry about the expensive stuff because we don't all have the money. We're going to do a what's in my camera bag, but for now, thank you for watching. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Check out my Instagram, hit the subscribe button, like this video, comment what you thought each part was for if you didn't know. If you've actually ever seen inside of a lens, because I bet you a lot of you haven't, let me know in the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching. Check me out on Instagram, check out Josh, I'll link him in the description. But yeah, keep safe and I'll see you again. Peace.